Rory McIlroy is with us now at the 2025 Ryder Cup. Rory, welcome to your 8th Ryder Cup. We'll go ahead and get started with questions, starting right here on mic 13.
Rory, winning these things at home is obviously a great experience, but it's winning away that makes absolute legends, I guess. What is it about this particular group that gives you confidence that you can do that this week?
The one thing that I've talked about a lot going into this Ryder Cup is I love the continuity of this team. I love that 11 of the 12 are the same as we had in Rome, and the 12th has the same DNA as the other one. So we've won before. I feel like it's been a really cohesive group for the last 3 years. We all know what to expect. We all know what our roles are within the team. And I think that has us prepared to give it a really good go this week. Over the past, basically since 2012, you look at the results of the Ryder Cup, the home team has won every time, but they also have won convincingly. It's been pretty one-sided either way. So, whatever team, whether that's Europe or America, that is the one to break that duck, I think is honestly is going to go down as one of the best teams in Ryder Cup history. And Luke said it in his opening remarks yesterday, but we are here and we are playing for history, and we're playing for the players that came before us and the people that basically laid the foundations for what the European Ryder Cup team are. But we're also playing for the guys that are going to come behind us as well, and the young boys that are dreaming of becoming European Ryder Cup players. We want to try to leave a legacy for them as well. So we have a wonderful opportunity this week, but we also understand it's going to be very difficult.
Claire?
Hi, Rory. What advice have you given to the younger guys about not just playing a Ryder Cup, but playing one in the United States?
Yeah, look, I think everyone has to find their own balance of what works for them, or what, we're playing in an environment that we're not really used to, or we don't get to play in very often. I'm very lucky. I get a lot of support pretty much everywhere I go when I play golf, and it's going to feel a little different for me this week. But that's to be expected, and that's totally understandable. And I feel at times in the Ryder Cup I've engaged too much with the crowd. But then there's times where I haven't engaged enough. So it's really just trying to find the balance of using that energy from the crowd to fuel your performance. I felt like at Hazeltine I probably engaged too much at times, and then in Whistling Straits I didn't engage enough and felt pretty flat because of it. So it's just trying to find that balance. And I can't tell anyone on the team what that balance is. They really have to find it themselves. But that's the challenge of playing away, right? It's you're not just trying to perform to your best level, but someone in the American team holds a putt, and then you have to try to follow them in. But you've got the crowd going crazy, and you're waiting for them to quiet. There's a lot of little things like that I guess takes you out of your normal routine that you just have to deal with, and that's part of the challenge of this week.
Up to mic 10.
Hi, Rory. Would you say that from the moment Ricky and Tommy shook hands in Rome 2 years ago, that this, even more so than the Masters perhaps, has been the singular focus for you?
I think when you get swept up in Ryder Cup week, it's easy to say that, but I still want to play well for myself, and I've always said I'm proudest of my individual achievements in the game. But the most memorable moments and the most fun I've had in my career have been at Ryder Cups. So they're a little bit different. But I do think that, as I said, winning another away Ryder Cup, just considering how hard that has been over the past 12 years, it would be one of the greatest accomplishments of my career for sure.
Just a super quick second question. Nice to be back in the Medina Saturday pink today.
Yeah, it is. It's nice. It is. It's nice.
Dan in the middle here.
Over here. What were your impressions as a kid of America growing up, and then now having lived here for so long? How is it similar or different to what you thought it would be like?
Everyone wanted to make it in America. It's the land of opportunity. I still believe it's the greatest country in the world, and if you come here and you work hard and you dedicate yourself, you can be or do whatever you want. I am unbelievably grateful and lucky that I got to come to America early on, and I think success is celebrated here. I think there's a wonderful sense of work ethic, and yeah, as you know, I live here. My wife is American. My daughter is American. You know, I have a lot of affinity towards this country, and I think everyone that lives here should have that same affinity because it is a wonderful place.
Up to 20.
Hey, Rory. Everyone loves the rivalries of the Ryder Cup. Bryson said he's going to be chirping in your ear. You said that he only says your name to get attention. Is this early mind games? Have you got a message back for him or Team USA?
I promised Luke I would only talk about the European team today. I'm going to stick to it. No, look, I think, again, it's so easy to play into narratives this week and to get swept up in this whole, rivalries and Ryder Cup and whatever it is. All I want to do is go and try and put blue points on the board. I don't care who it's against. If I come up against Bryson at some point, that's great. I think that's wonderful for the championship and wonderful for us as well in some ways. But, I just want to go out there and put blue points on the board and do what I can for the European team.
Right here, Bob.
Rory, can you recall your first Ryder Cup 2010? Was there a moment where it struck you, this is different, this is special, whatever it might have been, maybe a match or even team room type of thing that kind of got you thinking this is going to be something I really want to embrace?
Yeah, I think it's more the behind the scenes stuff, the team room, the team talks, how much, I think for me going in as a complete rookie, and I watched Ryder Cups growing up. I cried whenever America won at Brookline. It's not as if I didn't feel something when I watched Ryder Cups. But I don't know. I got into that team room at Celtic Matter, and I just saw how much it meant to everyone. And I sort of started, I was like, maybe I got this wrong. And, you start to see how much it, especially, for Europeans. And I remember Seve was sick, and we had him on, one of those conference call things like back in the day. And he's speaking to the team, and we're all in the team room. This is on the Wednesday or Thursday night. And I look around, and the majority of the team is crying as Seve is talking to us. And I'm like, that's it. That's the embodiment of what the European Ryder Cup team is. And I think that was the moment. That conference call with Seve in 2010 was the moment for me.
In the middle here, Mike 12.
Rory, the fans help make this event what it is. How do you feel when you hear the football-style chanting, and do you have a favorite song?
It's amazing. And I think as well, growing up as a fan of football and going to United games and hearing those songs and then having those songs, having the tune the same but the lyrics changed into something that, has something to do with you. As a boy, I dreamt of playing at Old Trafford and having those songs sung about me. I just didn't know they'd be sang to me on a golf course. So they're very creative. They're amazing. You obviously we won't hear it as much this week. But it's still amazing to, I think the last Ryder Cup we played at Whistling Straits, because it was off the back of COVID, we didn't have any support really there. I feel like we're at least going to have some this week, which is going to be nice.
Do you have a favorite song?
Not off the top of my head. Sorry.
Dylan over here.
Rory, you guys have talked about, when you make one of these teams, you feel like you're going to be on them forever. And then for a lot of guys, it doesn't end up being true. I think you and Rosie are maybe the only guys that have played more than 3 this week. how meaningful is that to you? And I guess how surreal is it to be on teams with guys from different generations?
Yeah, it is. It's Luke talks to us about that a lot. Luke went into the 2012 Ryder Cup as the #1 player in the world, the leader really of the European team. No one thought that was going to be his last Ryder Cup as a player. He certainly didn't think that. So he talks to us about that all the time, about really trying to make the most of this opportunity you have this week. And he is personification of that. And yeah, I've been, again, so fortunate to have a long career and to play in a lot of these things and to play against, players from all sorts of different generations. My first singles match was against Stuart Sink in 2010. And I played Sam Burns last time, and I don't know what the age gap is there, but it's at least 30 years, I would say, maybe 25, 30 years. So it's cool to have a long career and to be able to, to span those generations. Even at breakfast, talking to Jose Maria about Celtic Manor in 10 and, lying around the locker room for 2 days because we couldn't get out on the golf course because it was so wet. Just little things like that you can still share, and you can reminisce a little bit, which is cool.
Great. Thanks for your time, Rory. We appreciate it.
Thank you.